Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video. In today's video, we have a real treat. One of my oldest and best friends in the nomad life is going to present today, my friend Brian. And I think you're going to really enjoy the video. Now, I know from past videos that a lot of you are out there wondering, oh, what's going on, Bob? Are you quitting? Are you sick? Are you dying? And my answer to that is no such luck on your part. At any rate, I am not going anywhere. However, I'm older and I would like to do less. And so my goal is to do less and less on the channel. And so I have been thinking about how to do that for years, actually, now. Another question you're probably going to have is why Brian? Well, literally, Brian is one of my oldest and best friends in the nomadic life. I've known Brian for 11 years now, but I know Brian's heart. And Brian's heart is to love and care about people. That will always be the primary thrust of this channel. How can I help the nomad community? How can I help the individual who's suffering and needs hope? This channel is about offering hope. So I think the channel will change. It will be different, but its heart of caring and compassion will always be there. And let me tell you why I'm convinced that's true. When we started Homes on Wheels Alliance 3 years ago, we needed board members. So when I thought about who would be on the board of trustees, Brian was the very first person I thought of, and he is now still on the board. He is the treasurer of the board. He contributes his whole life and heart and soul to helping others through how the heart and soul of CheapRVLiving will not change. Brian's heart is to care and help people, to give hope, to give a way forward. That will never change on CheapRVLiving. In fact, I believe it will be enhanced by Brian being a part. I hope you will welcome him in and see that this is a step forward and not in any way, shape, or form a step backwards or even a step sideways. This is an improvement. We'll find out together. So let's watch the video.
Hello everyone and welcome back to CheapRVLiving. My name is Brian Gifford and I'll be your host today. Today you're going to have the treat of checking out my friend Keri's 2012 Mercedes Sprinter van named Calypso. But without further ado, let's get right into the tour.
Welcome to my 2012 Mercedes Sprinter.
All right, so what do you want to start with first?
Well, why don't we start with the kitchen?
All right,
so Calypso is an entirely electric rig. I have 900 amp hours of battery.
Oh wow, that's huge. Those are lithium.
Lithium, yep.
Okay.
Lithium.
And how many solar panels do you have on top to it?
I have 2 solar panels up top, 600 watts in total, but I also have 200 in deployable in case I ever need it. And being an entirely electric rig, you really want to over panel, especially when you work full time in the rig.
Gotcha.
I have a sink. This is one of my favorite little features actually, because I can hide my dishes from myself.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Oh, it's a really deep sink too.
Yeah, it's just a bar sink.
Okay. Cool.
It drains. I have 2 6-gallon, they're 20-liter freshwater tanks. I have a 6-gallon gray that just drains. I have an electric hot water heater down there that uses on demand, yep. Okay. Hot water heater that uses probably 1500 watts. Okay. I have a 3000 watt inverter and it barely breaks a sweat turning it on. But one of the cleverest things that I did was I put a timer on it, which means that if I turn it on and forget about it, I'm not going to burn through my batteries. And so if I'm just going to sort of quickly do some dishes, I might turn it on for 5 minutes. If I actually want to bathe myself, because I don't have a shower, a traditional shower, I can turn it on for maybe 20 minutes. Okay. Or if I know I'm going to be driving somewhere, maybe I'm going to be out hiking and I want to come back, I have a 4-hour button and it uses a lot in the beginning to heat it up, but it actually only uses a little bit to keep it at temperature. To maintain it, exactly. Which gives me the opportunity to have a warm, hot shower or, you know, bathing opportunity when I get back from a hike.
So is it tankless or is it a tank?
It's a tank, so it's a 2.5 gallon.
2.5 gallon.
Yeah, so it's not on demand, but it kind of is because I can press a button and 5 minutes later I've got hot water. But I actually do have the ability to take an actual shower too. I have a folding child's bathtub. Okay. And I can take this off and replace it with a shower head that I have.
All right, so that's the kitchen area. And your stove?
So I have an air fryer, I have an Instant Pot, and I have a small induction cooktop.
Oh, nice.
I've actually had the induction cooktop since the very beginning.
Okay.
And I wouldn't do it any other way. I also have an on-demand kettle. This is just a little more efficient than pulling out 3 different things to boil water. This is actually just Velcroed down, but it doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
And actually everything that you see here is out when I'm in travel mode. This is on magnets, and the laptop itself is Velcroed down.
Very good.
This is Velcroed down, and of course this is on the wall.
Yep.
So even my entire work space can stay up while I'm traveling.
Okay.
And so when I'm working, I actually like to, it was important to me to have a background that didn't, you know, ask too many questions.
Okay.
I mean, I'm fully open with my coworkers about the fact that I'm traveling, but it can be very distracting, say, if you are in a meeting in front of clients and you suddenly have, like, you're in a car.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And so it was very important to me to have that. I have a webcam here, and I'll just stand for most of my meetings.
Oh, okay.
When I do my development work as kind of a coder, what I'll do is I have just a bench, actually. This is actually, I just got this. I've had different versions of benches, but basically, you know, I just kind of sit like this.
Oh, that's perfect. All right, so that's your workspace.
Yeah, and it was important that I have alternative areas to work. So I actually have a lounge area over here that I'll show you in a minute that I actually work a lot at too, because it's just more comfortable to be able to kind of move around, change positions, you know, be mindful of my ergonomic status, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
And just be sure that I'm comfortable. So this is a fixed platform bed. It is a, it's basically a, I want to say 1 inch or 3/4 inch piece of plywood.
Okay.
There's actually no supports on the bottom. It's actually just attached from the sides.
Okay.
So, and actually,
so that's your main support.
It's the main support. And so of course I've got some 2x4s running this way to add the vertical support. It is a short full.
Okay.
So I have a full, so it's, I want to say 60 inches this way from back to front, and I sleep this way, and then it's about 65 inches this way.
Okay.
And so I can fairly comfortably sleep 2 people.
And what is this device you have here?
Oh, it's my Stargate.
It's your Stargate? It kind of looks like it, yeah.
So I made a decision in both versions of the van that I didn't want to have propane in this rig. I did in the Class C, and I, you know, especially with California being on fire, when I was living there, you know, every time I would drive past something like with a campfire, I was afraid my rig was on fire. So I said, no propane.
Okay.
This is a Dyson heater and air filter. So I actually use this a lot when it's really smoky out. I'll run this all night, and it's fairly efficient.
So it's a heater.
It's a heater and an air filter.
And an air filter. Okay.
And it probably uses 1500 watts on the heater. So for instance, I don't use it that often as a heater, but certainly when I have full hookups, or I used it this morning. It was 48 degrees in here when I woke up, and just using running it for 10 minutes, it took the edge off.
Yep.
I mean, and to me, that's the advantage of having electric versus carrying around something like a Mr. Buddy, where I can't run that all night. Like if I were plugged in, I could run this all night comfortably without worrying about it.
Yeah, as long as you had the battery power to do that. Okay.
Now, I will say I do supplement that with an S-Bar D2 diesel heater, but that is a bit more of a setup. So if I'm just taking the edge off, I'll just use this in the morning.
And with a diesel heater, since you're in a diesel engine, it just pulls off the main gas tank?
Exactly.
So
I just wanted to have one fuel. Exactly.
Perfect. Yep, that makes sense. You look very comfortable.
I am very comfortable. So this is actually an area that I've rebuilt about 2 or 3 times because I couldn't quite figure out how I wanted to deal with it. Originally, I had a bench that had my composting toilet under it, but it was too high, so no one could really sit here.
Okay.
I've always had the Lagoon swivel table. This thing is fabulous.
That's great.
I mean, I've had this in 3 different rigs.
Okay. Makes the move.
Oh yeah, it's so great.
And it's a lazy Susan too.
Yes, swivel.
Yeah.
It's great.
Perfect.
And so oftentimes I'll just work, or if I have someone else in my rig, and I often will, because if we're camping together in an area without internet and a couple of us are working and the internet's not great at our campsite, it's really easy for me to work from the situation over there, have someone sit here and work.
Oh,
Heck, we can have
co-working.
someone on the bed. Oh yeah, I kind of designed it with co-working in mind.
Nice. You can play board games there too. Just saying.
Yeah, so these do swivel.
Okay.
I don't tend to do that a lot lately, mostly because I recently banished my dogs from sleeping on the bed. And so I need, especially with a 100-pound dog, I need to give him a place that he can like comfortably sit and just kind of lounge. And so I kind of reserve this for my 2 dogs.
That's your dog kennel up there.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. So, and you have a 100-pound Doberman, and then you also have Molly, who weighs?
Molly is maybe 10 pounds.
Yeah.
She's probably 10.5 soaking wet.
But full of energy.
She's a toy Australian Shepherd.
Okay. Super cute. Yeah. But you definitely have 2 extreme opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. They're both working dogs, but I actually don't have an issue. The key is they're both super comfortable in the van.
All right. So tell me about the storage up here.
Okay. So up here, this is where I keep everything that I want to pull out on a daily basis. You know, multivitamins, dark chocolate, the important
essentials.
stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I've got a couple bins of electronics, a camera that I'll show you the camera outside, but this is the clone for it. I've got basically washcloths that I'll use. I hate producing waste, and so I do both my bathing and with separate washcloths, but I have a separate set that I use for washing dishes.
Okay.
I've got just avocado spray for cooking, plenty of kind of all-purpose seasoning, snacks, whatever I would kind of want, you know, within arm's reach. COVID antigen self-tests, you know, as you do.
And what's up there?
So this is clothes. This is a mess.
Okay.
So, but I'll let you see under the skirt just a little bit. So originally this is one of the differences between version 1.0 and 2.0. I mentioned that I had the toilet over there previously, and I have my fridge under here. It just so happens that they have the same profile.
Okay. And your fridge is now
Yeah,
here.
so I have a 120 fridge, so my inverter is always on, it's always running. I really wanted to have the freezer because I found that when I'm in the middle of nowhere, you know, rural areas, they don't have the best produce. And so having the ability to be able to freeze things, like I will chop up my the veggies that I put in my morning scramble in the freezer. I just pull out 1 serving, toss it in, and it just makes it so much easier to control what I eat without having to be, you know, vulnerable to higher or lower quality food that I could get locally. So this is the C head. It's C, the letter C dash HEAD. This is a marine style composting toilet. And actually it's got a lot of design benefits that I love, but unfortunately it's and the price point is better than say the Airhead or the Nature's Head. I think I paid about $650 or $700 for it instead of you know, $1,000 plus. In theory, there's a couple things I love about it. First of all, if you know, you need to churn the compost, and when I churn it, basically take this thing and you do this, and it churns from the bottom up. Which is actually a really great thing. I prefer that to the ones that churn from the side because I feel like it mixes it better. And the solids fall to the bottom. And so in theory, it's great. How
often do you have to rotate it like that?
Every time I use it. Or if you don't use it for a while, you want to be sure to make sure to keep it mixed, because this is actually not a vented one, and it's by design. You can choose to vent it or not. I typically travel in arid environments, and unless I'm in a place where it's been raining for about a week, it doesn't tend to it's fine. You don't really need the fan.
How often do you have to get rid of the compost?
Probably every month or so. I'm just a solo person, so
and so the urine it traps separately, and you have to do that much more often.
And so the one thing that I would say is I would not recommend this to especially solo women travelers, because let's just say the female anatomy wasn't taken into consideration when they designed this, and
so it doesn't separate.
And so it doesn't separate as well. And the manual, this is a true story, suggests that you go to the dollar store, get a spoon, and make some modification, like a single like spoon, and use that as like a supplemental diverter. And so without getting into too many details, that's the reason, you know, I have it. I'm happy I have it, but I would not recommend this particular brand for women.
Well, that's good to know.
So Calypso has a full garage. She has, if you want to look under her skirt, she's got the 300 amp hours of battery under there. So we have 600 amp hours there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And those are just 2 big batteries.
2 big, they're Chins batteries that I got off of Amazon, and they've been great, actually. I just added them after the fact about, what, 6 weeks ago? Not even. And they've been great. But I've had the Battleborns. I have 300 amp hours in Battleborns, and I have 600 amp hours in the
Chins.
non-name brand.
Okay.
And together, they allow me to run my air conditioner, you know, a week's worth of rain. I don't have to worry about it, even using my external monitor, even cooking, like, you know, with all my gadgets, including the air fryer. I love my chicken nuggets, so.
Who doesn't?
So yeah, the other thing I would say about the backside is you really have to capitalize on vertical space.
Okay.
And this is kind of my closet in a way. So So I've got my winter jackets, I got my different layers, my wool sweater that I don't really need as often. And over here, I've just got my summer dresses.
Oh, nice. So you have it divided into summer and winter. Perfect.
Yep, exactly. One modification that I have made since getting into Calypso was I coated the entire bottom of it and all the trim in something called Raptor Liner. And I can't recommend this stuff enough. As someone who is constantly traveling down forest roads, you know, you get scratches, maybe you get a little close to a fence and you kind of like tend to nick it. Basically, this makes my life easy because I don't have to worry about the scratches.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel so much better that I'm not constantly worrying about my Mercedes. I'm joking. That's ironic. My Mercedes.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about marking it up.
Yeah.
And so I think it was maybe $200 or $300 in parts for the whole thing. I paid someone to do it. And I honestly couldn't be happier.
And you basically did the bottom, like the bottom 2 feet of your rig.
And you'll see when you walk around
it. Very good. So, Keri, thank you so much. And yeah, we appreciate the tour. Beautiful van. I love it. I love it. It's very clean and aesthetic inside. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much, Keri, for opening your doors and giving us a tour of Calypso, your 2012 Mercedes Sprinter van. What did all of you guys think of her setup? What did you like about it? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked today's video, please smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, let us know what you think. Until next time, so long and have a great journey.